and then the freedom that happens in perimenopause and menopause. So we don't have to worry about that.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about any of those things. And it really becomes a time of freedom and exploration for women. And it's amazing.
I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Owning Your Sexual Self. We have on a powerhouse of a guest today, someone that's been doing this for over decades now. We have Pamela Madsen on with us today. Welcome, Pamela. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and we're talking today like why women are hungry for pleasure post-menopause and demystifying somatic sex education. Like this, I feel like this, yeah, this is going to be just like a lot of information in this episode. And you have, I mean, you've done so many things already. I'd love for you to give us a little taste of that. Media appearances, the legacy of Back to the Body, the retreats that you're doing, the books, all your roles. Tell us a little bit like how you.
Put it all, Rachel, in 30 minutes.
I know,
If we can do that.
yeah, give us like
So
the
I'm a
short, yeah.
somatic sex educator. My background is I come from the world of fertility.
Mhm.
I founded the American Fertility Association. So a lot of what women know about their biological clock comes from a study that I did of 17,000 women around the world. And I have my master's in education, and I'm a certified somatic sex educator. And they can read all about my journey in my memoir, Shameless, how I ditched the diet, got naked, found true pleasure, and somehow got home in time to cook dinner. You can find it on Amazon. You can read all about my journey. And after that, after the book closes, there's this other journey where I left the American Fertility Association and became much more interested in the connection between sexuality and fertility and our whole life. And so I became a certified sex educator. I knew a lot about, um, what is named as sacred sexuality, and tantra, and because I experienced it. I also experienced um, a decade of being a client of sexological body work. So
Mhm.
I had a very deep understanding of what the experience was for women in trying to explore sexual wellness in a safe container.
Mhm.
And so that's what I sought to do,
Yeah.
was to create a safe container for women that was also data driven. We've been studied. And you can put the article, where you list me,
Yeah.
where people can go to the website at backtothebody.org, and you can read all about the study that was done by Widener University about the effects of women doing immersion somatic work.
Mhm.
And it's extraordinary, the changes that go through women's bodies.
Mhm.
You mentioned menopause, so let's just go there.
Yeah.
So menopause really can be the hottest time in a woman's life. Why? Why would that be
Mhm.
when people are talking about hormones and this and that and fixing us during menopause? And even the word menopause,
Mhm.
pause,
Pause. Yeah.
it's more like menoplay, menosexual, menohawk. Um, what happens for women is a bunch of things. I mean, I just finished a retreat here, and I had a group of midlife women that came. And, the first thing is they're in a different stage of their life. So they're no longer, or they are aware of the fact that they've been in people pleasing mode for most of their lives. And at 40 or 50 or 60, they're like, what the F?
What do you consider midlife? I'm just curious, real quick.
Anything over 40,
Over 40. Okay.
anything over 40. Figure the average age of the human lifespan is around 82.
Mhm.
So if you want to cut it in half,
Yeah. Okay.
about 40.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Women are in perimenopause, usually are in their 40s, and they start doing these inner reflections. They also, hopefully, by the time they're in midlife, in perimenopause or menopause, they've taken control of their financial life. They have their own money. They've established careers.
Mm.
If they have children, they are mostly grown, if not gone, like off to college, or, you know, depending how old the woman is, completely gone from the home.
Mhm.
Marriages may have ended, marriages may not have happened. Um, they're in a very particular stage of life where there is a lot more sovereignty and a lot more, so sovereignty, a lot more ability to make their own decisions. And what I find is that at that point, they have been swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming, and they stop and they tread water for a minute and they look around and they realize that one of the things that they haven't experienced is sexual wellness, is embodiment, is even knowing what they want,
Mhm.
let alone getting what they want. The fear of pregnancy has gone away. They want more. They are aware of that time clock. So
Mhm.
you just said, well, how old is middle life? And crinkled your nose when I said 40, because
Mhm.
that felt like, well, I'm in my midlife. I'm just 40. But if you think about it, yep, you sure are at 40. If you're lucky to live to 82 or older
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
have all your facilities, your mind, your body.
Yeah.
And so women are, oh, the women I meet are striving for more. And it has nothing, if anything, youth was a barrier.
Yeah, there's like I think in our youth too, like sexual, well, sex, right? Like penetrative sex, there's a lot of fear created around that. Like from a young age, depending on what sex education people got, it's like you're gonna get an STI, you're gonna get pregnant, you're gonna die essentially, right? Like a lot of this fear-based knowledge or education rather was instilled in us. And then for a person that doesn't want to get pregnant right away, it's like, well, what kind of birth control do I need? What am I using condoms? Am I not using condoms? What happens if I don't? Am I getting plan B? Now, how is plan B fucking up my body and my menstrual cycle afterwards? Like there's all this fear around sex. And then I think what you're alluding to here is like when you get to the mid 40s era, and then that's none of that, not none of that, a lot of that is no longer present. It's like, whoa, okay, like what actually have I been missing out on when it comes to sex and like how I can experience sex, and alluding to like that hustle, go, 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 like always doing something, always doing for others, essentially, especially for moms. Then that goes away, as you said, like okay, now we're nest free. It's like that gives them the time to look within of like, okay, what have I been missing out on? Like what do I actually want more of? And then as you said, like coming to that question of like some women don't even know. Like what when I ask them in my practice, like, what do you want? Well, I don't know. Like no one's ever asked me that. What does that mean, you know?
Well, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And so, and it's so interesting hearing you talking about reproductive health options for young women. Well, that's disappearing
Mhm. Yeah.
rapidly. And so, we're also dealing with re-traumatized women who had sexual sovereignty that the government is taking away.
Mhm.
And so the fear of getting pregnant, the fear of putting your life in danger by getting pregnant.
Mhm.
Because if you miscarry or have a ectopic pregnancy, have any issues with your pregnancy right now in many states,
Yeah.
you might die. And so how that is affecting our younger women now,
Yeah.
who is, and that's going to be a whole other thing that we're going to be dealing with as sex educators. Women not wanting to have sex, young women not wanting to have sex, not wanting to have children
Mhm.
because of the fear of something going wrong and not getting help.
Mhm. Yeah,
And so,
given like the time that you spent in fertility, I know you like did a transition, but what would you, thinking back to like what you learned in doing that study, and then now coupling that with what is happening in the world as we are in now, what do you wish women knew more of when it comes to fertility? Like, what would you be essentially like shouting from the rooftops at this
but
point?
what would I have shouted from the rooftops? I mean, I've been on Oprah, it's been in Time Magazine.
Mhm.
I basically launched the biological clock to the world 20
Mhm.
years ago
Mhm.
with the study that I did of women around the world. We surveyed over 17,000 women from Uganda to the UK to the US, and they uniformly thought that fertility began to decline at age 42. Um, Sorry.
Mhm.
But just like our governments presently, Mother Nature isn't a feminist.
Mhm.
And she's much happier with women getting pregnant at 15 than at 40. So your first dip in fertility is at age 27.
Mhm.
That's the first significant dip in fertility. And so what I want women to know, what I wanted women to know for a very long time, is that women can have it all, but maybe not at the same time.
Mhm.
So if you want to have babies, you want to do that in your late 20s, in your early or mid 30s, if you want to have babies. As you inch closer to 40, it gets much harder because women's eggs are kind of like dairy products. We have a freshness date. And with all of the technology and fertility that exists today, they could take one, again, it's like male privilege. They can take one little tired little sperm and inject it into an egg. It's called ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. And they probably have other titles and other ways now. But they haven't found a way to rewind the woman's biological clock.
Mhm.
So I want women to know about their biological clock.
Mhm.
So if they really want to have a child and they don't they don't have a partner, they may want to freeze their eggs because egg freezing technology is really good. Or make an embryo with your partner and freeze that to have it when you feel ready in your personal professional lives to have a child. And then the freedom that happens in perimenopause and menopause. So we don't have to worry about that.
Mhm.
We don't have to worry about any of those things. And it really becomes a time of freedom and exploration for women. And it's amazing. I mean, I get all kinds of women. I get very famous sex educators come through my programs.
Mhm.
They have no place to go to do this work at such a high level.
Mhm.
And I get women who have never been even undressed in front of other women come to my programs.
Mhm.
We have many different programs, but what is universal is that women want more. Women want to understand their bodies.
Mhm.
Um, you are not erotically dead because you hit menopause. In fact, you're beginning a whole new chapter.
Mhm.
And yeah, there are reasons to take testosterone and estrogen and do hormone replacement. I take testosterone.
Mhm.
Um, it's being highly encouraged. Um, we are now using estrogen replacement for women over 60 who have not done it before. There's a small risk, a
Mhm.
small cardiac risk. 1 in 1,000 women may have a blood clot. That's a personal choice.
Mhm.
Um, but we have the tools to help our bodies and support our desires. So if taking testosterone and estrogen supports you in having your desires of more, well, then, buckle up, girlfriend. It's there for you. Everything is there for you now.
Mhm.
And especially for midlife women. I'm more concerned right now about our younger women.
Mhm.
I'm more concerned about our women, our teenage women, our women in our 20s, and our women in our 30s, whose lives are in danger from having sex. Because what happens if they get pregnant? And what happens if things don't go well? And in my knowledge base of running a fertility organization, a world famous fertility organization, it doesn't always go as planned.
Mhm.
And what are the messages that we are sending women right now? Your body, my choice. Messages that I see young men wearing on t-shirts. We've been fighting that for a really long time, and the fact that we're having to go back,
Mhm.
and what is that going to do? I mean, I'm working with women who've had reproductive choice, and they're still dealing with reproductive trauma.
Mhm.
I work with women who've, had all kinds of freedoms, but we're still impacted by society. We're still impacted by parents who did the best they could,
Mhm.
by culture. It's not even shitty sex education. I think that's maybe even the smallest piece is a shitty sex education. I think it's the cultural narrative around women's pleasure.
Mhm.
On social media, you can't even say the word pleasure.
So silly.
It's so I think that women as a community are in a state of crisis right now. I think we're being re-traumatized.
Mm.
I think our young women are being hurt. And I think our older women are actually doing better right now. And quite honestly, I think older women are doing better right now as far as mental health around sex and reproductive choice
Mhm.
than our younger women. And that is so sad
Mm.
because I'm working with lots of the trauma that and desires of midlife women 40 and above
Mhm.
who've had all that.
Yeah.
Now we're taking all that reproductive freedom, which is sexual freedom,
Yeah.
and also giving a narrative that women are incompetent.
Mm.
It wasn't very long ago, I think it was in the 70s, that women got the opportunity to have their own checking accounts
Mm.
without a man signing off. 1970s,
Mhm.
not so long ago. We've really just falling into our sexual and financial sovereignty
Mhm.
and releasing all the garbage. Now we have another group of women coming in.
Mhm.
And how are we going to hold each other through this and be sexually alive and be able to name our desires and find our breath and our voice and have consent and have control
Mhm.
over what happens to our bodies, whether it's a sexual encounter or a visit to the gynecologist? We're in a time of crisis for women.
Mhm. And with your work and more of like the somatic work and the sexological body work, like how does that, because again, you're working with women that are in all different age ranges. So how does that look and how is that different than, let's say, like traditional talk therapy or your traditional sex education?
Very different, and they don't exclude each other.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I just let a group go home. We just ended a retreat here. And in closing circle, I was like, do you have an appointment with your therapist? If you don't have a sex positive therapist, see me for a referral.
Hmm.
Um, Sexual wellness is a part of overall wellness.
Hmm.
So, what's going on with your body? After I hang up with you, I'm running to the doctor, taking care of my physical parts,
Hmm.
right? We have to take care of our physical parts. We have to take care of our hormones. We have to take care of our mental health. So, what somatic work does is it releases what's in the body, releases what's in the body. You don't have to understand the tears. You don't always.
Hmm.
Sometimes we're like a trash compactor. We just keep pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down.
Hmm.
And that's hard. And so what somatic work does is it helps women release that. The stories that they don't know they're holding, they don't need to name.
Hmm.
They just release through breath and sound and movement and pleasure and touch and tears. And the parts of them that they want to talk about, that they want to express with their practitioners. So some of the work is private, it's one-on-one
Hmm.
with a practitioner. We work in a triadic model, which means there's always a female therapist involved here at Back to the Body,
Hmm.
or a female somatic sex educator present, not in the session, but to greet the woman, to catch the woman. We
Hmm.
do communal nesting after retreats where the women kind of all flop together and hug each other and talk about sessions. Um, and we have ongoing free support groups for our women. But workshops happen in a group
Hmm.
and they're multi-generational and the women love it.
Yeah.
It's exciting to have women in their late 30s and have an 83-year-old woman. And we just did something called erotic body stories, where the women, this is on the last day, when they're so comfortable.
Hmm.
So much has changed. Immersion is different from anything else.
Hmm.
And I had an array of ages, and I had a woman in her 80s, and she also dropped her robe. They went one at a time and talked about her erotic body story.
Hmm.
And afterwards, we wrote and we journaled and we shared. And one of the women thanked the older woman and said, "Thank you for letting me see an older body.
Hmm.
Thank you. I needed to see an older woman's body." And so we heal with each other.
Hmm.
It's not top-down learning,
Mm,
sisterhood. It's trained practitioners and therapists.
mhm.
It's small groups of women, 8 women to 12 women. You can't scale this.
Yeah.
Did I answer your questions?
Absolutely. I mean, this is like you're witnessing them in this erotic truth. Like you're taking like just this raw, like very vulnerable approach. You're holding that space for them to be able to go there. And yeah, I think there's something special to be said about women that also, one, even sign up to do this type of work, but then two, to do it in that community like group setting versus one-on-one. And the fact that they're getting all of the components with, the one-on-one, the group, the community, all of that with your program, that sounds incredible. I think that's like women witnessing other women healing. I mean, for decades and decades and decades, women coming together to gather in circle and to gather in groups, like we know power and magic happens from that. Um, and yeah, I think every woman deserves to feel on the other side of this, to be more in tune with her body, to know what pleasure feels like for her, to be able to voice that to somebody else and to
Ab-
voice the no.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And it all takes time.
Hmm.
It takes time. And so, yes, like within our programs, which are all immersion programs, um, they have the combination of private work, they have the group work. In the study that was done, one of the things that was named by the women was sisterhood, healing their relationship with other women,
Hmm. Hmm.
feeling safe with other women. And a lot of that comes from releasing mate competition
Hmm.
and comparing and contrast and the compare and contrast ditch that women dig.
Yeah.
And we take that away by how we run the programs,
Hmm.
which allows for lifelong friendships.
Hmm.
So long after they leave me, they're still with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So I'd love to like just do like a little rapid fire wisdom round with you if you're open to that.
Sure.
So this will kind of like couple everything in. So we'll go back to the menopause conversation. What is one myth about menopause that you would want to retire forever?
That it's a pause.
Hmm.
Menopause is not a pause. That was named by a man.
Yeah.
There is no pause. In fact, it's a time of firing up.
Mm. I love that. It's like more, it's an awakening. Yeah. And what is one word that you would use to describe women post 50?
Fierce.
Mm. Yeah. Ooh, you're so on it. You're really just giving me one word. This is great. And then you've hosted retreats all over the world. So I'm curious, like favorite location that you've ever hosted a retreat.
Well, right now, my favorite location is Southern California, high desert, where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I have a private property
Hmm.
that I can use now.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and so I can host my own retreats at my own gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous place
Hmm.
here,
Hmm.
which we're loving. And I still do international. We just did a private island in Panama,
Hmm.
going to Sicily next year and back to Panama. Um,
Amazing.
but we've been everywhere. We're going to Thailand in January.
Hmm.
So I think favorite location is probably the one I'm on. The but it's sort of like a kindergarten class. You love the ones you're with.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that my favorite location for travel is often the place I arrive.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if I'm going to Scotland, it's Scotland, and that I'm loving Scotland. Um, and most of all, I'm loving having my own place
Hmm.
that is incredibly gorgeous
Yeah.
and that I can curate just the way I want to.
Yeah, it feels like home. I mean, it is home and it feels like home and you're creating that space, that home feeling for others.
Incredible natural beauty.
Yeah. Ugh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check out your things. This sounds amazing. And last one is what is a pleasure practice that you think anybody could try tonight or anybody that's listening could try?
Pleasure practices are just rituals.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah.
just rituals. A pleasure practice can be making your favorite cup of tea and allowing yourself to have that.
Hmm.
You know, we make it complicated. A pleasure practice for me is doing lotus of meditation, and I've got that on my website, and it's free. Go take the pleasure quiz on my website, and then you'll get all this like free shit. Um, so holding my vulva, doing lotus left meditation.
Mhm.
They can go watch the video and do it tonight. And then it can be as simple as taking a walk, making time to read erotica,
Mhm.
um, eating a cookie mindfully, choosing the cookie, like spending the day choosing the cookie
Mhm. Mhm.
and then savoring the cookie. Pleasure practices are what you decide to put your attention on.
Yeah. Well said. And for any women that are listening right now who feels like this hunger and maybe they're around this midlife era and they don't know where to start, where would you recommend that they go?
Well, we're running a portal
Hmm.
in October, which is a 3-day residential and non-residential program at much lower cost
Hmm.
than my
Hmm.
retreats, where they can come and learn a lot of skills and have a great time.
Hmm.
And enjoy the desert and our pool on the hot tub and community of women and see demos and participate in a way that's not scary. That portal is called the Art of Receiving, and it's in October. I'm here in the high desert. Um, and I'm going to be on the East Coast teaching at the Omega Institute
Hmm.
with Court Bucks on desire.
Hmm.
And that's going to be the first week in August. And it's again low cost, Omega Institute,
Hmm.
very well known on the East Coast. Come and be with me in court there
Hmm.
and get a free consult. Speak to one of our sex therapists, tell your story.
Hmm. Hmm.
They will help you find the right resources. And we have so many free resources.
Mm. Amazing. And yeah, where can everyone find you if they're wanting? I mean, we'll link this in the show notes, but are you most present on Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it Facebook? Is it your website?
All the things. I get to write and say more on Facebook.
Hmm.
So I have a verified, like a truly verified, not purchase verified account. My personal account, Pamela Madsen, on Facebook, on Instagram, the Pamela Madsen.
Hmm.
I'm still pretty great there, but you get me a little shorter. I put out free content every day at backtothebody.org. Yes, on TikTok, though I'm not quite as active there yet. But there's content every single day,
Mm.
Instagram and Facebook, like a religion.
Yes. Wonderful. And I think that's so beneficial to people too, if we're following accounts that are sex positive, like sending out good messages, not shameful messages to people. I think that's also really low-hanging fruit of where people can start, like just getting some of this information like on your radar and in your view.
Absolutely. And it's more than just de-shaming, it's tools, it's
Hmm.
inspiration.
Hmm.
It's being able to relate, like having somebody who's relatable
Hmm.
and go to the website at backtothebody.org, get a consult, take the pleasure quiz, see what's available to you. You know, we just try really, really hard to be super present
Hmm.
to women's needs and support them to where they want to go.
Hmm. Yeah, meeting them where they're at, it sounds. Well, thank you so much, Pamela. This has been just a very refreshing conversation to have you on. I know you are, again, as I said, you came on like a powerhouse in this field. You're someone that is really, really a force in this work that you're doing and have and now doing all over the world. And I'm assuming, yeah, helped thousands and thousands of people. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to link this back to thebody.org for listeners today, checking out all the free resources that you have to offer. I'm going to check out this lotus meditation that you're talking about today. That sounds like a fun little lunch break opportunity for me
It
here.
absolutely is. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you really fucking loved it, make sure to tag me on social media at the Rachel Main. I'll see you next week.